Hey there, I'm Nathan, better known as the Bishop of Balance. I am trying to create epiphanies of beauty to bring a revival of great storytelling. And today I would like to show you a piece of art that I've worked on. It's called The Precipice of Truth, and I'll play the animation and the song, and then I'll explain a little bit about what it's all about. Enter the sacred space where your perspective is shifted. The world seems to stretch around you in an embrace so intimately close and vast simultaneously. Clouds part, heavens open, revealing a spiral of angels. A breath, a beam, a helix of fire infused into the tree. The living unburnt, the dead now ash, hovering in the wind. Arise and rise above the clouds with renewed clarity. A crooked path hard to follow, the precipice is truth. The precipice of truth is my interpretation of Moses' encounter with the burning bush as described in Exodus in the Bible. And it's kind of, if you were to take the perspective of looking at the experience through his eyes as the embers drift towards him and as the smoke billows upwards and as the angels descend from heaven into this burning fire that defies all logic and understanding. It's a little bit stylized, and certainly it's not in the middle of Europe as depicted here, but I hope this still captures the essence of what that experience was for him. Every part in this artwork has a really specific meaning and symbology behind it, and I've gone to a lot of effort to try and incorporate a lot of details into it. So I'll just unpack it line by line to give a little bit of context of what is actually happening in the piece. Enter the sacred space where your perspective is shifted. So the artwork itself is kind of strangely contorted where the horizon line kind of like bends up and down at the same time. There's like the curvature of the earth because you're on like such a high point, but then also the clouds are like coming up and around you. And this is to symbolize a moment where you're having a deep and profound encounter in this sacred space where the way that you perceive the world changes. Like in the next line it says, the world seems to stretch around you in an embrace, so intimately close and vast simultaneously. And that's to really emanate what you're experiencing in that moment. You could be like tunneling right down into such a minute detail of a specific thing, or you could be zoomed out and seeing the world as a whole. These moments that are really sacred have these very peculiar characteristics of the way that your perspective on things is shifted. Clouds open, heavens part. No, clouds part, heavens open. I always get that confused. I always say them around the wrong way. Clouds part, heavens open, revealing a spiral of angels. And if you look closely at the top of the image, there's actually like tons of little dots just spinning around this central point. And this is to symbolize like this open heaven or this portal into the spiritual realm where there is like this access in a unique way where you can really tangibly feel something that's going on that's not just here. And it's something that's also closely associated with that sacred space. So it's enter that sacred space. It's where you are no longer alone and you're able to really sense that something else is going on behind the scenes. And I've just tried to use this as a way of this artwork as symbolizing what that would look like if you had your eyes wide open to be able to perceive these sorts of things. A breath, a beam of helix of fire infused into the tree. They are to symbolize the triune nature of God. And without going on a huge theological rant, it is to symbolize that every act of God is a Trinitarian act. The living unburnt, the dead now ash, hovering in the wind. And This is to really symbolize the refining process that we go through in life, and how we might encounter difficult and rough circumstances, but we have the opportunity to use those circumstances to help refine who we are and grow who we are. This refining process is also maybe a bit similar to that of a pruning process, where the parts that aren't helping us to be able to be who we are fully supposed to be are burnt off or removed. And if you look really closely at the rays of light on the sides of the image, you might be able to pick up that there is these little dust particles that are hovering in the wind, and they are to really symbolize the fact that you generally aren't aware of the negative components that make up yourself unless they are brought into the light. Arise and rise above the clouds with renewed clarity. This section is symbolized by the clouds that are beside the mountain and over in the back. It's these sacred moments where we're able to see beyond the conditioning of our circumstances, our family, or of society, and going beyond those to have a more objective view of the world, seeing things the way that they actually should be seen. And we're able to realign ourselves to what we should actually be doing with our lives and through our lives. And that leads into the next part, where it says, "A crooked path hard to follow, the precipice is truth." And this is to really say that that path is not always the easiest, and nor is it the straightest. But it's the one that requires a lot of self-sacrifice. So it requires a shifting of our perspective. It requires us dying to our own desires and pushing past the expectations of the world and of society to be able to really be the influence that is really called for you to make a positive change in the world. I hope this really inspires you to really seek after those moments, those sacred moments where your perspective is shifted and you're able to really see things through new eyes. But yeah, if you haven't checked out the artwork, animation, and song, you can do that. There will be an annotation at the end of this video. This artwork is also available as a background for your phone or desktop. You can also listen to the song on Spotify or iTunes. But yeah, if you would like to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel, there'll be plenty more content coming your way. Anyways, I'm the Bishop of Balance, and I look forward to catching up with you in a couple of weeks' time.